If you're living in the world of microservices, you definitely know the headaches. So today, we're going to dive into an open source tool that's designed to solve them, KrakenD. We're going to break down what it is, uncover the secret to its, frankly, incredible speed, and see how it can simplify even the most tangled architectures. Okay, let's kick things off with a problem that I'm betting many of you know all too well. You moved to a microservices architecture for all that promised flexibility and scale, right? But now it feels like your teams are just bogged down by this whole new layer of complexity. Sound familiar? Yeah, this is what we call the microservices maze. As your system gets bigger, your developers find themselves stuck building the exact same things over and over again. Authentication, rate limiting, logging, across dozens, sometimes hundreds of different services. It's just a massive drain on time and energy. But the good news is there is a way out of that maze. It's a purpose-built solution, an API gateway, but a very specific and powerful one called KrakenD. It was designed from the ground up to tackle these exact problems. So, what is this thing really? Well, the official definition is a stateless, distributed, high-performance API gateway. Now, I want you to focus on that one word, stateless. It might not sound like much, but it's the absolute secret sauce here. We're going to come back to why that's so important in just a minute. And it's really crucial to get this. KrakenD is not just some simple reverse proxy that just passes requests along. Think of it more like a powerful engine. It can grab data from a bunch of different services, secure all your endpoints, and even transform the data before it ever gets back to the user. So how on earth does KrakenD pull all this off? Well, it all really boils down to two core pillars: a relentless, almost obsessive focus on performance, and a radical commitment to simplicity. First, let's talk about speed. With KrakenD, performance isn't just some bullet point on a feature list, it is the absolute foundation of its entire design. Every single piece of it was built with a performance-first mindset. So how is it so fast? Well, remember that word I told you to remember? Stateless? This is where it pays off big time. Because it doesn't need to save any information between requests, KrakenD can scale out horizontally like you wouldn't believe. It can just handle enormous amounts of traffic without even breaking a sweat. And the results of this approach? They're honestly staggering. We're talking over 80,000 requests per second. And the craziest part? That's on standard, off-the-shelf, commodity hardware. You don't need some specialized, expensive server. That is just pure, raw horsepower. Okay, now for that second pillar, simplicity. Seriously, in a world of complicated setups and endless dependencies, KrakenD is such a breath of fresh air. All you need to run the whole thing is one single file, a binary, and its configuration. That's it. That's the whole show. And this simplicity means huge real-world wins for you. You're not wrestling with dependencies, so your infrastructure costs just drop. And because the entire gateway is just defined in that one config file, you can manage it all with GitOps, which brings incredible consistency and reliability to your whole workflow. So this brings us right back to where we started. How does KrakenD solve all those shared headaches that were slowing your teams down? Well, it does it by centralizing all of them, right at the gateway level. Just think of all that repetitive work your teams are doing. KrakenD takes it over. For instance, it handles authentication right at the edge, so your services don't have to worry about it. It manages traffic and rate limiting to protect your backend from getting overwhelmed. It takes all this work off your developers' plates so they can get back to building what actually matters. Let's just zoom in on one of these because it's an absolute game changer: API aggregation. Imagine your app needs to build a user profile page. It needs data from the user service, the order service, and the review service. Instead of the app making 3 different round trips over the network, KrakenD does it on the back end, combines all that data, and sends back one single clean response. This makes everything dramatically faster and just simplifies life for everyone. Of course, it's one thing for me to sit here and tell you how great it is, but let's see who's actually using it out in the wild. KrakenD is trusted by some of the biggest companies in the world to handle their most important traffic. Fabijan Bajo over at IBM hits on those exact core pillars we just talked about: simplicity, statelessness, and performance. When a company like IBM chooses a tool for those specific reasons, you know it has been seriously battle-tested. Then you got Ken Lean, the chief evangelist at Postman, who basically calls KrakenD a disruptor. A modern, lightweight, high-performance alternative to the older, clunkier solutions out there. It's really shaking things up. And here's a look at it in a massive, real-world setup. Hepsiburada is running over 800 KrakenD containers in Kubernetes to manage an ecosystem of 500 microservices. That just speaks volumes about its ability to scale and stay reliable under absolutely extreme conditions. And this brilliantly illustrates that KrakenD isn't just another piece of infrastructure. It's a strategic enabler. For lastminute.com, it was a vital part of their entire API transformation, helping them standardize how they do business. Okay, so we've looked at the technology, the mind-blowing performance, and what people are saying about it. So what's the real takeaway here? What's the bottom line? If you remember just one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. KrakenD is the stateless API gateway that was purpose-built from day one for two things: incredible speed and radical simplicity. So, to recap, it solves those frustrating common microservice problems by handling them at the edge. It delivers performance that frankly is pretty much unrivaled, and because of that simple, single binary design, it is absolutely effortless to manage and scale. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. In a world where performance and developer productivity are everything, KrakenD proves that your API gateway doesn't have to be some complex, slow bottleneck. So the real question is, if your gateway can be this fast and this simple, what's holding your architecture back?